Hello everyone. Welcome back to this channel. I'm Em, a licensed psychologist and a licensed guidance counselor. In this channel, we talk about work-life harmony, mental health, and mindful relationships. Have you ever told yourself, once I earn my own money, I can finally breathe? Maybe you've said, after this promotion, things will get better. Or perhaps, I'm working hard now so I can enjoy my life later. Most of us have said some version of these statements. And yet, many people reach the salary they once dreamed about only to discover something surprising. They are earning more than ever before, but they're also more exhausted, more anxious, more disconnected from the people they love, and sometimes more unhappy. As a psychologist and guidance counselor, I work with students, professionals, executives, entrepreneurs, and families. One pattern appears again and again. Many people are not struggling because they don't have enough money. They are struggling because they have never been taught how money relates to a meaningful life. Today's discussion is inspired by Morgan Housel's book, The Psychology of Money, one of the most insightful books ever written about wealth, happiness, and human behavior. This is published by Harriman House on 2020. But this video is not about investing. It's a video about something much deeper. It is about why some people get caught up in money and others use money as a tool for freedom. It's the correlation between financial success and work-life harmony. And maybe most importantly, it's about knowing when enough is truly enough. So stay with me until the end because one idea from this book has the power to completely change how you think about work, success, and happiness. Most people think money decisions are logical. We imagine people to weigh up the options and make rational decisions. But psychology tells another story. We are emotional creatures. Fear, insecurity, childhood experiences, social comparison, pride, and hope all influence the way we make financial decisions. Think about it. Why does someone buy a luxury car they can barely afford? Why does someone work 70 hours a week if they already make enough? Why does someone continue chasing money long after their basic needs have been met? The answer usually isn't mathematics. It's psychology. Money often represents something deeper. For some people, money represents safety. For others, it represents freedom. For others, it represents status, recognition, or even self-worth. The problem begins when we confuse money with the emotional needs we hope it will satisfy. Money can buy comfort. Money can buy security. Money can buy options. But money cannot buy self-acceptance. Money cannot buy genuine connection. Money cannot buy inner peace. When we ask money to solve emotional problems, we often find ourselves working harder and harder while feeling emptier and emptier. This is why understanding how your relationship with money is one of the most important aspects of psychological well-being. Let's talk about one of the most powerful ideas in the entire book, the idea of enough. Morgan Housel said, the hardest financial skill is getting the goalpost to stop moving. Think about that. The hardest financial skill isn't investing. It isn't budgeting. It isn't negotiating a higher salary. It's knowing when enough is enough. Our culture constantly tells us that happiness exists on the other side of more. More income, more followers, more achievements, more possessions, more success. But here's what psychology has discovered. Human beings adapt quickly. The race that excited you 6 months ago becomes normal. The new house eventually becomes ordinary. The promotion that once felt extraordinary becomes expected. Psychologists call this hedonic adaptation. We become accustomed to improvements and then begin wanting something else. The result is a life spent chasing, always reaching, always striving, never arriving. Many professionals sacrifice their health and relationships because they believe fulfillment is one promotion away. Then they get the promotion, and the cycle begins again. Work-life harmony starts with defining enough, not society's definition, your definition. Enough income, enough possessions, enough achievement, enough success. Because if enough is never defined, no amount will ever feel sufficient. Let's be honest, comparison is exhausting, and social media has made it worse. Every day we see people traveling, buying homes, launching their businesses, getting a reward, getting salary increases, living what seems to be a perfect life. But psychology reminds us of something important. We compare our behind the scenes footage to other people's highlight reels. We see their outcomes. We rarely see their sacrifices. We see their expensive vacation, but we don't see the anxiety. We see a successful business, but we don't see the sleepless nights. We see the promotion, but we don't see the burnout. One of the greatest threats to work-life harmony is trying to live someone else's version of success. The truth is simple. Someone will always have more. Someone will always earn more. Someone will always appear more successful. If your happiness depends on being ahead of everyone else, happiness becomes impossible. The goal isn't to win the comparison game. The goal is to build a life that aligns with your values. Most people think money buys things. But according to Housel, the greatest value of money is something much more important. Freedom. Freedom to make choices. Freedom to spend time with loved ones. Freedom to live in healthy environments. Freedom to rest. Freedom to pursue meaningful work. Freedom to say no. As a psychologist, I've noticed something fascinating. People rarely tell me they regret not buying more things, but many people regret not spending enough time with family, not taking care of their health, not being present with their children, not pursuing dreams that mattered to them. The older we become, the more we realize that time is life's most valuable resource. Money can be regained, time cannot. Every financial decision is also a time decision. Every career decision is also a life decision. When we understand this, we begin asking different questions. Instead of asking, how much money will I make? We begin asking, what kind of life will this allow me to live? And this is a more important question. One of my favorite ideas from the book is this: wealth is what you don't see. Think about this again. Many people assume wealth is visible. Luxury vehicles, designer clothing, expensive gadgets, larger homes. But actual wealth is often invisible. It's the money not spent. It's the savings account, the investments, the financial caution, the freedom, the options, the peace of mind. Psychologically, this matters because many people work themselves into exhaustion trying to appear successful. The irony is that appearing wealthy and being wealthy are often opposite behaviors. One spends money to create an image. The other saves money to create freedom. The question becomes, are you building a lifestyle that looks rich or a life that feels rich? These are not always the same thing. Let's move beyond finance for a moment and talk about mental health. One reason savings matter is not because they make us wealthy. It's because they reduce psychological pressure. Savings create breathing room. They create options. They create flexibility. Imagine two people, both earn the same income. One has no savings. The other has a year's worth of expenses saved. Who experiences more freedom? Who experiences less anxiety? Employees can leave a toxic workplace if they must. So the answer is very obvious. Money saved is not merely money. It is emotional security. It is resilience. It is a choice. In counseling, we often discuss coping resources. Financial stability can become one of those resources. Not because it solves every problem, but because it reduces the stress created by uncertainty. Modern culture often confuses success with wellness, but they are not identical. Someone can be successful and miserable. Someone can be admired and exhausted. Someone can be wealthy and lonely. The challenge is that achievement receives applause. Balance often does not. Accomplishment often veers into burnout. People celebrate the promotion, few people ask about the panic attacks. People admire productivity, few people ask about the emotional cost. Work-life harmony requires a broader definition of success. A successful life includes healthy relationships, emotional well-being, physical health, purpose, financial security, and time. Without these elements, success becomes incomplete. Most transformations happen slowly, whether we're discussing money, relationships, health, or mental well-being. The world celebrates dramatic breakthroughs, but life often changes through small, consistent actions. A short daily walk, regular family dinners, saving a small amount every month, consistent sleep, meaningful conversations. Small habits compound. People often psychologically underestimate gradual progress because there is no excitement in it. But gradual progress is often the most sustainable. The same principle applies to work-life harmony. You don't need a complete life overhaul. You need small changes repeated consistently. These changes accumulate over time, and eventually they will transform your life. Let me ask you a difficult question. If you constantly fantasize about weekends, vacations, retirement, or quitting your job, what does that say about your current life? Many people spend decades enduring life rather than living it, waiting, surviving, postponing happiness. But life isn't a dress rehearsal. Work-life harmony is about designing a life that is not always postponed for fulfillment. A life of success and well-being is synchronized, or better yet, integrated. A life where ambition and health can exist together. A life where money serves your values rather than replacing them. This doesn't mean every day feels amazing. That means you're generally heading in a direction that aligns with what matters most. The biggest takeaway from this video is this. The purpose of money is not to collect more money. The purpose of money is to support a meaningful life. That's it. Money is a tool, not an identity, not a measure of worth, not proof of success, a tool. And like any tool, its value depends on how it is used. Money makes life richer through freedom, security, giving, growth, and meaningful experiences. Money is often found to give less than it takes, especially when it is the sole aim. The healthiest relationship to money is a relationship in which money supports your deepest values, not one where it replaces them. As I end this video, I want you to consider these three questions. First things first, what does enough mean to you? I'm looking forward to your responses in the comment section of this video. Second, are your financial goals aligned with your life values? And third, if money gave you complete freedom tomorrow, how would you spend your time? Your answers to these three questions may reveal more about your priorities than any financial statement ever could. Because at the end of life, people rarely wish they had worked more. They rarely wish they had accumulated more possessions. Instead, they wish they had spent more time with the people they loved, protected their health, pursued meaningful experiences, and lived according to their values. Money matters, but the life you build with it matters even more. And keep in mind, the richest life isn't always the one with the most money. It is the one where your money, your time, and your values align. If this video resonated with you, share it with someone who might need it. And don't forget to subscribe for more content about work-life harmony, mental health, and mindful relationships. Take care of your energy. It's one of your most valuable resources on how to live mindfully. I'll see you in the next video.